A distant relative of mine, very distant relative, was unfortunately never zeicha to children of her own. She had a beautiful marriage. When she realized that she was not going to be able to have children, she and her husband made a decision that they will have children. They'll have children that they didn't give birth to, but they'll have children that will be theirs nonetheless, and they set about adopting a number of children. And together they built a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful family. A beautiful family today. It's a very, very nice family. If you didn't know that the children all came from different backgrounds, you wouldn't know that there's anything different. They've managed to create pretty much a seamless, gorgeous family. I remember when one of their children entered the parsha of Shidduchim. And it wasn't easy. Nope, wasn't easy at all. It was very, very difficult. Pretty much an idea would come up, and then the boy would hear that she's from an adopted home, she's an adopted child in the family, and that would be the end. Or, if the boy didn't hear about it, so then they would date. She asked the Shaila, when should she tell the boy that she's adopted? She was advised to do so no later than the third date. So, if it made it to a third date, then the third date was always the last one, because that's when she would fess up and the boy would tell her how wonderful and kind and lovely she is, but he doesn't think his mother will go for it, or whatever excuse was concocted, either to her face or to the Shidduchim. This went on like this for a number of years, and she got exhausted. She got exhausted to the point that you almost couldn't get her interested in the idea in a shidduch anymore. When she would go out, she would do so half-heartedly. It didn't talk to her. It didn't do it for her anymore. But another name came up, and this one really sounded almost too good to be true. Like, it sounded like the boy that any girl would dream for. And her parents were pretty much dismissive of the idea, not because they didn't want the boy, but because he's not going to want them. There's no way he's going to agree. He had just too much in his favor to pay any attention to her. But as they always did, wonderful people, they cautiously proceeded, and they said yes. And to their great shock, he said yes. And their daughter goes out. And the first date, it's wonderful, but she won't dare allow herself to get her hopes up. Right? Because obviously, he hasn't yet figured out the dark secret about her past, that these are not her birth parents. They go out a second time. And now there's some chemistry developing. And she really likes him. But she won't dare allow herself. And she told my wife she went around for days with this stone on her heart. She couldn't breathe. She couldn't exist, knowing that it's just a matter of time till some well-meaning person spills the beans and the shidduch is over, and she cannot bear to go back to that place again. She's sure he must, the Shadchan hinted that on the third date he would like to talk to her about something. Okay, she knows what he's going to talk to her about. And the date goes on. And he's talking, and he's talking, and it seems to be a really nice date, and it seems to be going places. And at a certain point, she can't control herself anymore. She just knows what he's going to do, and she figures, let me be the one to bring it up. So she says to him, when are you going to talk to me about the fact that I'm adopted? And he looks and he says, you are? She says, you didn't know? She says, I don't know. I never thought to ask, and nobody told me anything. And then he looks at her and he says to her, wow, that must have been so hard for you. How was that? And she said, it wasn't so easy. He said, wow, I wish you would tell me about it. I have new respect for you. What you must have gone through, how difficult that must have been. Wow, if I didn't think you were something special before this, now I sure do. And by the time the date was over, he told her that he doesn't want to commit to anything yet, but he sees that they have a bright future, and he hopes that he can make the rest of her life much more pleasant and much easier than the first 25 years of her life were. And he's been doing so now for about 20 years, making her life an absolute joy. They're building a beautiful, gorgeous home. And my point is that, it is hard. It's hard when somebody knows about the fact that you've got something in your background that might not be so super stunning. But when the time comes that you're supposed to get married, the Rebbeinu Shalom is going to make that person not know. Or he's going to make the right person come along who might know and might think you're super special as a result. You don't know. But the Rebbeinu Shalom does know. The Rebbeinu Shalom's got a plan. He's got a lot of plans.